Good evening all. Happy National Statistics Day. So today I'm going to present an interesting and unusual topic, effect of individualized school hemodialysis on cerebral blood flow. Hemodialysis patients are known to have cognitive, psychological and functional abnormalities. The 1-year risk of developing multi-infarct dementia is 7.4 times higher in a hemodialysis patient compared to a normal individual. This is predominantly due to significant and recurrent circulatory stress causing perfusion abnormalities in vulnerable vascular beds, including cerebral blood flow. They have shown that reducing the dialysis temperature from the set temperature improves hemodynamic stability and reduces intra-aortic hypertension significantly. And it also reduces myocardial stunning with improvement in cardiovascular performance. Dr. Vikas has done a study in our dialysis patients, and he has shown that there is 40% reduction in the incidence of intra-aortic hypertension in patients undergoing hemodialysis by using cool dialysis. Most of the studies have shown that cerebral blood flow significantly reduces regardless of the modality of measurement. Two studies done by Eleni and Rising, they show that using cool dialysis, changes in cerebral blood flow are attenuated, and when they followed the patients after 6 months, they showed that cool dialysis definitely has protection against white matter changes. In our study, we use transcranial Doppler, a simple dynamic bedside monitoring tool, which can help to measure the cerebral blood flow frequently. It has no radiation exposure. Dr. Pradeep, who is our world-renowned neurosonologist in our hospital, has done these measurements in our dialysis patients with the help of Dr. Ramakrishnan, who is our chief neurologist. And we have done this study on 16 patients. We have measured predominantly the left middle cerebral artery, right middle cerebral artery, and basilar artery. So we have covered the anterior and posterior circulation. This is the Doppler blood flow. If you see this, the peak one is called as peak systolic velocity. And this one is called as end diastolic velocity, which must be 25 to 50% of peak systolic velocity. And this is called as flow velocity, which is given by the formula end diastolic velocity plus 1/3 of peak systolic velocity. Pulse threshold index, which is given by the formula PSV minus EDV by MV. The PI, pulse threshold index, gives you the resistance in cerebral vessels, especially in the distal vessels. So as PI increases, you notice that cerebral blood flow gradually reduces. And it also correlates with EV. If you look at PI range of 0.6 to 1.9 has the optimal blood flow with an EDV of 5 to 50%. So when the PI is 0.5 to 1, it indicates normal resistance. Anything above 1.1, abnormal resistance, and more than 1.5 is very significantly abnormal. We did standard temperature dialysis followed by individualized cool dialysis the next week, repeated in the same patient with session, day, and ultrafiltration controlled. We measured PSV, EDV, MV, and PI during 0 hour start of the dialysis, 2nd hour, and 4th hour. And primary objective was to assess and compare the cerebral blood flow parameters by transcranial Doppler in patients undergoing individualized cool hemodialysis versus normal dialysis. We used a rather new model for Dr. Rajagopal for sample size calculation. We analyzed all 170 dialysis patients in our unit, and we found that they had 4 major variation in the weight, ultrafiltration, and blood pressure. Patients were classified based on these parameters to measure these 4 parameters on cerebral blood flow. We have taken 2 levels of each parameters, one low and one high, as shown in this table. Patients were classified into 8 groups based on the above parameters. And the study was planned by balanced experimentation in such a way that every group of patients, all 4 parameters were replicated in equal number of times, as the following color-coded table, which I'll show you. And this is called as orthogonal array experimentation. If you look at this, there are 8 groups as indicated by the number. And there are 3 measurements at the start of dialysis, during dialysis, and end of dialysis. And all 4 parameters were equally distributed across all the tables. Shown that the presence of interdependency of blood flow measurements between the arteries in baseline and during the study. The mean flow velocity between the arteries are positively correlated, which means the blood flow increased or reduced simultaneously across all arteries. Of all the measurements, these following measurements contribute significantly as the principal component in both cool and standard dialysis. You can see with the tick mark, PI was most significant across all vessels. This is called as a Scree plot. If you look at this, the top 2 graphs, the eigenvalue of more than 1 was significant, which we had 4 measurements. Out of them, 3 were PI. And variation parameters as age, weight, ultrafiltration, and blood pressure. The following were sensitive to cerebral blood flow measurements, contributing to the variation. If you look at this table, age was a common denominator in almost 7 out of 8 parameters. The next was weight. I've highlighted the significance of age and weight with significant p-value and coefficient. By this table, PI increases 0.1 of every 10 years significantly, and PI reduces by 0.1 of 10 kg weight loss significantly. Risk reduction, it is clearly showing that individualized cool hemodialysis mitigates the risk by almost more than 50%. Box plot for LMC API. On the right side of the corner, there is cool hemodialysis and standard hemodialysis. There are two groups, age below 30 and age up to 75. And this whole thing is weight less than 40 kg, and these are patients with weight up to 85 kg. If you look at this grossly, the patients who are having higher age group up to 75, the risk of increasing in PI, which you can see is going up to even 2.3, is very high in standard hemodialysis, especially with patients having low weight. And if you look at the patients having high weight group, in cooled hemodialysis, the PA is always near 1, but if you look at the standard hemodialysis, it's increasing. So we can clearly say that in higher age group patients, especially with lower weight, the risk of developing a high PA is significant with standard dialysis compared to pooled dialysis. We received similar results in RMC API and BAPI, which can be clearly shown in the box plot. And we had an interesting observation. There was a patient, Mr. R, had a very high PA, which was approaching around 2 during standard hemodialysis. Patient on subsequent cool hemodialysis, his PA dropped significantly to less than 1.1, which was an astonishing finding. But when we were following up this patient, we found that unfortunately, 3 months after the study period, he has developed recurrent pseudobulbar palsies, and recently the patient has passed away. Maybe if this patient was put on individually cooled hemodialysis completely, it would have helped in improving his cerebral blood flow, thus preventing him from having a cerebrovascular accidents. The take-home message of this study is that pulsatility index can be used as a sensitive indicator for cerebral blood flow using a transcranial Doppler, and in hemodialysis patients with higher age group and weight group who are at significant risk of cognitive decline will benefit from individually cooled hemodialysis. Thank you.